Hey man, the most devastating truth about women, one that many men learn too late, is that when she loses respect for you, her love, her loyalty, even her desire can collapse almost overnight. You'll be sitting there confused, replaying every good memory, wondering why the woman who once looked at you with admiration now looks at you with boredom or even disgust. But here's the thing, love is negotiable, attraction is emotional, but respect is the foundation. Once respect cracks, everything else crumbles. What hurts her the most in this state isn't that you stop trying or that you distance yourself. It's that deep inside she realizes she can no longer admire you as a man. And when that respect dies, a part of her dies with it. She feels it viscerally, like a void she can't admit out loud, because a woman cannot thrive in a relationship where she doesn't look up to her man. Respect, for a woman, isn't about the words you say, it's about the weight you carry. It's about whether your presence commands seriousness or invites disregard. The moment she senses you are bending too much, pleading too often, chasing her approval instead of holding your ground, she begins to lose the instinctual pull that keeps her invested. At first, she might not even be conscious of it. She might just feel irritation where she once felt desire, restlessness where she once felt comfort. But eventually, she realizes the truth. She cannot respect a man who makes her the center of his universe while neglecting his own. What hurts her in this realization is that she knows she is complicit. She is with a man she cannot admire, and every day she stays, her attraction decays further. What cuts deepest for her is not that you walk away, it's when you stay and refuse to fight for your dignity. Women test men constantly, often without realizing it, and those tests aren't about cruelty, they're about survival. They want to know if the man they're with is strong enough to lead, to hold his ground, to maintain frame when things get hard. If you fail those tests, if you fold at every pushback, she loses the one thing that made her drawn to you in the first place, your stability. That's what hurts her the most. The disappointment of realizing that the man she thought she could trust to hold it all together is actually crumbling under the weight of her emotions. She may not tell you outright, but she feels it in her bones, and it eats away at her desire for you like rust on iron. And here's the paradox. When you finally stop caring about her opinion, when you reclaim your self-respect, when you let go of the need to explain yourself, that's when the pain hits her hardest, because it reminds her of the man she first met, the man she respected before the begging, before the over-explaining, before the surrender. Silence, distance, indifference, these are brutal weapons against a woman who no longer respects you because they strip away her illusion of control. She's left face to face with the reality that her games, her dismissiveness, her withdrawal don't move you anymore. And that's when it hurts. Not because you're cruel, but because your refusal to crumble exposes her dependence on your validation, even when she pretended she didn't care. What devastates her the most, though, is when she realizes she cannot win back the respect she once withheld from you. A woman can forgive mistakes, she can overlook flaws, but she cannot resurrect respect. Once she's crossed that line, once she's seen you beg, plead, or tolerate disrespect without consequence, her image of you is permanently altered. And when you finally walk away, when you finally reclaim your ground and choose yourself, she's hit with a different kind of pain. Not the pain of losing you as a partner, but the pain of losing the version of herself that existed when she admired you. That's what lingers, that's what stings at night. Because she knows she will find men who like her, men who chase her, men who want her, but she will never again find the version of you she respected before she broke it. Once respect is gone, everything in her behavior begins to shift. Though she may try to disguise it, she becomes shorter in her tone, less affectionate in her gestures, more critical of even the smallest things you do. She might start comparing you openly or subtly to other men who she doesn't even necessarily want, but men she feels carry the strength you've stopped embodying. And it's not because she's cruel, it's because she's mourning something. She's mourning the man she thought you were, the man she once admired, and the slow death of that image is what breeds her coldness. What hurts her most in this stage isn't you pulling back, it's her own realization that she can no longer feel what she once felt. That disconnection haunts her because it forces her to confront the truth. Respect is the only soil in which her love can grow, and without it, everything feels hollow. The irony is that while she may lash out, criticize, or even push you away, part of her is secretly wishing you would snap out of it, take back control, and remind her of why she admired you. Women don't consciously want weak men. They may manipulate them, but deep down, they yearn for someone who refuses to bend. So when you start over-explaining, apologizing excessively, or allowing her to lead you emotionally, it cuts her deeper than you know. She wants to feel your strength, not your submission. She wants to feel anchored in your frame, not responsible for holding the entire relationship together. That's why it hurts her most when she sees you crumble. It's not just that she loses respect for you, it's that she loses the version of herself that could feel safe with you. And here's the brutal truth. Many men don't realize, when you stop demanding respect, she doesn't just stop respecting you, she stops respecting herself for being with you. Every moment she spends in that dynamic erodes her self-image, because deep down, she knows she settled for less than she deserves. That's why she starts pulling away, why her affection fades, why she suddenly seems to be somewhere else emotionally. It's not just about you, it's about the way she feels about herself when she's with you, and that self-betrayal is what hurts her most. The gnawing awareness that she is staying with a man who no longer makes her feel what she craves most, admiration and security. But nothing slices deeper than when you finally stop playing along. When you stop chasing, when you stop explaining, when you stop tolerating disrespect, she feels a sharp and unexpected sting. Because now the balance of power shifts. Suddenly, she is the one on edge, the one second guessing, the one wondering if she pushed too far. Your silence, your absence, your indifference, they remind her of a version of you she once craved but took for granted, and that realization is devastating. It's not just that she misses you, it's that she misses the man she could respect, and the fact that she lost that version of you by her own actions is what keeps her restless at night. What hurts her the most in the end isn't losing your affection, it's losing the chance to look at you with pride again. A woman can replace companionship, intimacy, even the illusion of love, but she cannot replace respect. And when you finally reclaim your self-respect by walking away, by refusing to be diminished, she sees the line she can never cross back over. That's when the regret sets in. She will remember the moments you stood firm, the times you were steady, the version of you that made her feel small in the best way, safe, protected, guided. And when she realizes that version of you is gone for good, taken by her own disregard, that's the pain that lingers long after you're gone. When respect is broken, her behavior takes on a very specific pattern, one that leaves many men confused, but is actually predictable once you understand it. She starts creating distance, both emotional and physical, but frames it in ways that make you question yourself. She'll say she's busy, she'll claim she's tired, she'll suddenly have excuses for why intimacy feels forced. But behind those excuses is one truth: she no longer sees you as the man she can admire, so being close to you feels unnatural. What hurts her most is not the space itself, it's the fact that she knows exactly why she's pulling away, but she cannot bring herself to admit it out loud, so instead, she punishes you with silence and avoidance, hoping you'll somehow wake up and change. The next stage is often subtle disrespect, sarcasm, dismissive tones, eye rolls, or little jabs at your masculinity. These aren't random. They're expressions of the contempt building inside her, and contempt is always the death knell of attraction. Yet here's the paradox: every time she disrespects you, she secretly wishes you'd check her on it. She wants to feel your boundaries, she wants to feel your strength. But when you laugh it off, excuse it, or worse, apologize as if her disrespect is your fault, you kill whatever small spark of admiration she had left. That's what cuts her deeply, not the fact that she disrespects you, but that you allow it. In her mind, every unchecked slight becomes proof that you are no longer the man she believed you were. And this is where many men make the fatal mistake of overcompensating. They feel her slipping away, so they give more attention, more affection, more promises, more energy. They think that if they just prove how much they care, she'll come back. But what they don't realize is that the very act of overgiving, when she has lost respect, only pushes her further away. It confirms her suspicion that you value her more than yourself, that you are willing to abandon your dignity just to keep her around. That realization is painful for her, because deep down she wants to admire you, but she can't admire a man who worships her while diminishing himself, and so the more you give, the less she feels. Ironically, the only thing that reignites even a spark of her respect is when you stop. Not when you explain, not when you argue, but when you go silent. When you pull back your energy and redirect it toward yourself, she feels the shift immediately. That indifference slices through her illusions more than 1,000 apologies ever could, because suddenly she is reminded of the man she first met, the man who was whole without her, who had a life before her, who wasn't afraid to lose her. That's when the hurt strikes her deepest, not because you're being cruel, but because she realizes she destroyed the very respect she once had for you, and now she's left chasing a version of you that no longer exists. But the deepest pain comes long after the breakup, when the dust settles, and she looks back on the relationship with clarity. She'll replay the moments when you were strong, when you stood firm, when she admired you, and compare them to the man who begged, pleaded, and allowed himself to be diminished. That contrast will haunt her, because in hindsight, she'll realize she had what most women never find, a man capable of leadership, a man who could have been her anchor, but she broke it. And once respect is broken, it cannot be restored. That realization doesn't just sting, it burns, because while she may find other men, none will ever make her feel the way you did when she truly respected you, and that absence will echo in every relationship she enters after you. What most men fail to understand is that respect isn't just another box in a relationship checklist, it's the lifeblood of her attraction. Without respect, her love becomes shallow, her loyalty becomes conditional, and her desire becomes non-existent. You can buy her gifts, shower her with attention, and bend over backward to make her feel secure, but if she doesn't admire you, all of it will feel like background noise. What hurts her the most, deep down, is that no matter how much you give, it doesn't change how she feels. She knows she should appreciate it, she knows she should be grateful, but she can't fake the kind of pull that only comes from respecting a man. And when she realizes she can't manufacture that respect anymore, she feels trapped in her own emptiness. That's why women sometimes leave men who did everything right. From the outside, it makes no sense. He loved her, supported her, provided for her, gave her the world, but inside, she knows the truth. He gave too much and demanded too little. He confused devotion with leadership, and in doing so, he suffocated her respect. And what tears at her the most is knowing she's leaving a good man for reasons she can't explain to anyone else without looking ungrateful. She might say she wasn't happy or that she needed something different, but the reality is simpler. She couldn't respect him anymore. And for a woman, losing respect is the death of everything. The cruel irony is that many women don't even realize how much they crave respect in return. When she loses respect for you, she also loses respect for herself, because part of her identity is tied to the man she chooses. If she looks at you and sees weakness, indecision, or desperation, she can't help but feel that she chose beneath her worth. That self-betrayal eats away at her, even if she never says it out loud. And that's what hurts her most. Not just losing admiration for you, but losing pride in herself for staying with someone she no longer looks up to. This is why women grow bitter, restless, or cold in relationships that look stable on the outside, because internally they're being crushed by their own disappointment. And yet when you finally walk away with dignity intact, when you refuse to lower yourself further, that's when the pain hits her hardest. Because now she's forced to confront the one truth she avoided. The respect she threw away will never come back. She'll remember the early days when she looked up to you, when your presence grounded her, when she felt proud to stand beside you, and she'll compare it to the empty reality of now, where you've reclaimed your power and she's left with the consequences of her choices. That realization cuts deeper than any breakup could, because it's not just about losing you, it's about losing the man she could have admired forever if she hadn't destroyed it with her own hands. This is why silence, distance, and detachment are your greatest weapons when respect is lost. Arguing, begging, and over-explaining only drain you further, but walking away in calm strength forces her to face herself. It shows her that while she may have lost respect for you, you never lost respect for yourself, and that is what truly hurts her the most, because it proves that she can't drag you down into weakness, no matter how hard she tried. It proves that you are bigger than her emotions, stronger than her games, and grounded in something she can no longer touch. And that realization that you didn't break even when she stopped respecting you will haunt her long after you're gone. When you look closely at relationships that collapse, you'll notice one common thread. The man allowed respect to slip through his fingers, often without realizing it. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, in small compromises that seem harmless at first. Maybe you let her speak to you in a tone you wouldn't tolerate from anyone else. Maybe you start over-explaining every decision, hoping she'll approve. Maybe you start rearranging your life around her moods, walking on eggshells just to keep her comfortable. Each time you do, a small piece of respect erodes. She may not call it out immediately, but internally, something shifts. What hurts her the most about this erosion isn't that you bent, it's that she sees you're willing to abandon yourself just to hold on to her. Deep inside, she knows she can't respect a man who won't even protect his own dignity. A woman's greatest fear isn't that you'll stop loving her. Her greatest fear is that she'll realize she no longer respects you and can't get that feeling back, because without respect, every kiss feels forced, every compliment feels hollow, every promise feels like noise. She may stay physically present, but emotionally she's already gone, searching for the spark she once felt but can't resurrect. And the brutal truth is that she will secretly resent you for letting it happen. She may never admit it, but the part of her that once admired you now sees you as weaker, and that weakness gnaws at her. That's why women often become cold, dismissive, or distant before they leave. They're mourning the respect that died long before the relationship ended, and that loss is what devastates them the most, even if they blame you for it. The irony is that men often think giving more will restore respect, when in reality it only digs the grave deeper. The harder you try to prove yourself, the less she feels the need to respect you. It becomes a vicious cycle. You sense her slipping, so you try harder, and the harder you try, the less she admires you. She may even grow irritated by your efforts, snapping at you for things that wouldn't have bothered her before. And it's not the effort itself that bothers her, it's the lack of self-respect behind it. What hurts her most here isn't your love or your effort. It's that your effort feels desperate, not grounded. She wants to feel pulled into your world, not to feel like you're orbiting hers. And when she realizes she no longer feels that pull, the respect is gone. And along with it, the woman she used to be when she admired you. This is why the strongest move a man can make when respect fades is not to fight harder, but to step back. Distance speaks louder than desperate words ever could. Silence exposes her emotions in ways explanations never will. When you stop chasing, when you refuse to argue, when you let her sit with the weight of her own choices, that's when the pain strikes her deepest. Because she's forced to face the truth. The man she thought she could walk over has boundaries she cannot cross. And boundaries to a woman are both frightening and magnetic. They remind her of why she was drawn to you in the first place. What hurts her most in this moment isn't that you pulled away. It's that she realizes her behavior caused it, and no amount of excuses can change that fact. The final sting comes when she watches you rebuild yourself without her. When she sees you stronger, calmer, more focused than you were with her. It forces her to confront the deepest regret of all. She broke respect for a man who never broke himself. She'll remember the moment she tested you, the time she disrespected you, the ways she pulled away, and she'll realize that while she was trying to diminish you, you were quietly becoming untouchable. And that regret will stay with her long after she moves on. Because respect, once lost, cannot be regained. What hurts her most is not losing your love, not losing your attention, but losing the chance to admire you again. And once a woman loses that, she knows she has lost everything that made the relationship worth having. Respect is the currency of a man's value in a woman's eyes. And once that currency is devalued, no amount of gifts, apologies, or desperate attempts can restore its worth. The tragedy is that most men don't realize they are spending it carelessly, one small concession at a time. They think being agreeable is kindness, when it's actually weakness. They think letting her lead every decision is being supportive, when it's actually abdicating leadership. They think tolerating her disrespect is being patient, when it's actually self-betrayal. And while he convinces himself he's being a good partner, she feels the opposite. Her respect drains silently until one day she can no longer even pretend to look at him the same. What hurts her most in this isn't just his weakness, it's her awareness that she cannot unsee it. Once respect collapses, attraction suffocates, and she's left mourning a version of him she knows will never return. The man who understands this truth moves differently. He doesn't try to keep her by pleasing her. He keeps her respect by pleasing himself first. He sets standards not only for how she treats him, but for how he treats himself. He invests in his body, his purpose, his boundaries, because he knows those are the pillars that uphold respect. And every time she tests him, because she will test him, he calmly holds his line. No raised voices, no emotional breakdowns, just quiet certainty. And that certainty is magnetic. It makes her feel both safe and intrigued because she knows she cannot move him. What hurts her most when she faces a man like this isn't the distance he creates, but the realization that she must rise to his level or lose him. And that pressure forces her to choose, step up or step aside. When respect is gone, many women will try to disguise their loss of admiration by staying in the relationship for convenience, comfort, or appearances. They may still sleep beside you, they may still play the role of a partner, but emotionally, they've already checked out. They'll compare you silently to other men. They'll daydream about a life where they feel that admiration again, and they'll grow bitter as time passes. And here's the hidden cruelty: even while they stay, they resent you for not giving them the respect they crave to feel for you. It's a paradox that tears them apart. What hurts them most isn't leaving, it's staying with a man they can't admire, because every day spent in that reality chips away at their own self-respect. They can't escape the thought, if I don't respect him, what does it say about me for staying? But the deepest pain, the kind that lingers long after the relationship ends, comes when she sees you reclaim yourself without her, when she watches you rebuild your strength, when she hears about your success, when she sees other women look at you with admiration. She feels the sharp sting of regret, because she knows she once had the chance to stand beside that man, the strong, grounded version of you, and she squandered it. That regret isn't just about losing you, it's about losing the reflection of herself when she was with you at your strongest. Women crave to be with men they can admire, and when she realizes she threw that away for comfort or control, it eats at her in ways she'll never admit publicly. That's why so many women circle back, not out of love, but out of the craving to feel what they lost: respect. The lesson here is brutal but necessary. Never let respect slip, because once it's gone, everything else is an illusion. A woman can love you today and leave you tomorrow if she no longer admires you. She can be loyal for years and betray you in a moment if she no longer respects you. She can tell you she'll never leave and still walk away without hesitation once she sees weakness she cannot unsee. But the man who protects his respect above all, who refuses to beg, refuses to over-explain, refuses to tolerate disrespect, never faces this fate. Because respect, once guarded, fuels desire, loyalty, and love in ways no amount of affection can replace. And when you hold that line, when you value yourself above her moods, you don't just protect the relationship, you protect your identity as a man. And that, above all, is what she feels the deepest. Respect is not something you earn once and then keep forever. It is something you reinforce daily through your actions, your standards, and your presence. Many men make the mistake of thinking that because she fell in love with them at their strongest, that respect will last regardless of how they show up later. But the moment you let yourself slip, the moment you stop leading, stop protecting your frame, stop living with discipline, the cracks begin to show, and a woman notices instantly. She may not articulate it, but she feels it deep in her body, the shift from admiration to doubt. What hurts her most in that moment is realizing that she can no longer trust your consistency, and once that trust in your strength wavers, so does her respect. And when respect falters, everything else is on borrowed time. A man who guards his respect understands that it is not just about relationships, it's about life itself. How people treat you, how opportunities come to you, how the world responds to your presence, all hinge on whether you carry yourself as someone who demands respect. The woman by your side is only one piece of the puzzle. Friends, colleagues, even strangers can sense whether you live by your own standards or by the approval of others. And here's the thing, women are wired to test those standards more than anyone else, because for them, it's survival. They need to know if the man they're with can handle the weight of life. And if you fail, it hurts them not because they want to break you, but because they feel unsafe in a world where the one they chose cannot hold firm. That's the hidden pain, realizing their protector isn't who they thought he was. This is why so many women leave men not in anger, but in quiet resignation. They don't always storm out or cause drama. Sometimes they simply fade, withdrawing their energy little by little until there's nothing left to give. And what drives that quiet exit is the slow erosion of respect. She doesn't hate you. She doesn't even necessarily stop caring, but she no longer sees you as the man she once admired, and she cannot force herself to stay where admiration no longer exists. What hurts her most about this type of ending isn't losing the relationship, it's losing the image she once had of you. She mourns not just you, but the version of herself that was able to look at you with pride. and that loss leaves an emptiness no rebound, no distraction, no new man can easily fill. The men who never face this fate are the ones who live by one unbreakable rule: never sacrifice self-respect for temporary comfort. They understand that love built on pity, on tolerance, or on convenience is not love worth having. They do not bend so far that they snap. They do not explain themselves to the point of exhaustion, and they do not chase after someone who no longer admires them. And because they hold that line, women treat them differently. They test them, yes, but they test with admiration, not contempt. They may push, but they push knowing he will push back. And that balance creates the kind of respect that keeps attraction alive. What hurts a woman most in these situations isn't disrespect, it's the opposite. It's the realization that if she disrespects him, she will lose him. That fear keeps her honest, and that honesty keeps her invested. The ultimate truth every man must learn is this: women can live without constant affection, they can live without constant attention, but they cannot love without respect. You may think her silence means she's cold, you may think her withdrawal means she's ungrateful, but often it's simply that the respect has already died, and once it's gone, it doesn't return. That's why your greatest duty as a man is not to make her happy in every moment. Happiness is fleeting. Your greatest duty is to command respect, first from yourself and then from her. Because when she respects you, her love will follow, her loyalty will deepen, and her desire will endure. But when she doesn't, everything you give becomes meaningless, and what will hurt her most, more than losing you, more than missing you, is knowing she once had the chance to respect you fully, and she let it die. That is the wound she carries long after you've walked away. Respect begins with how you respect yourself, long before a woman enters your life. If you live a life without boundaries, without purpose, without discipline, then no woman can ever truly admire you, no matter how much she says she loves you. Women sense when a man is drifting, when he is making excuses, when he is tolerating less from life than he deserves. And here's the cruel twist: she may still stay with you, she may still play the role, but her attraction will wither because she cannot look up to a man who doesn't look up to himself. What hurts her most isn't that you don't worship her enough, it's that you don't respect yourself enough. That lack of self-respect is contagious. It poisons how she sees you, and eventually it poisons how she sees herself for being with you. She begins to feel like she's lowering her own value by attaching herself to a man who has no backbone. Every time you bend unnecessarily, every time you let disrespect slide, every time you trade your pride for peace, you think you are keeping the relationship together, but from her perspective, you are unraveling it thread by thread. Women aren't built to carry the full weight of leadership in a relationship. They test because they want to feel your strength. If every test is passed with compliance, if every confrontation is met with begging or excuses, then you are silently telling her that you cannot lead, that you cannot withstand storms. And when that message settles in her heart, the respect evaporates. What hurts her the most in this phase is the disappointment of realizing you weren't the anchor she thought you were. She feels betrayed, not because you mistreated her, but because you stopped being the man who made her feel safe to begin with. The man who truly understands respect doesn't raise his voice, doesn't over-explain, doesn't try to argue his way back into her admiration. He knows that respect is not negotiated, it's demonstrated. His actions, his boundaries, his silence when necessary, speak louder than any speech ever could. If she crosses the line, he doesn't debate, he removes himself. If she tests him with games, he doesn't collapse, he holds his ground. And ironically, it is in these moments of firmness that her desire reignites. Because women are drawn to men they cannot move at will. What hurts her most here is not his coldness, but her awareness that she misjudged him, that he is stronger than she thought, and that her loss of respect is not because he was weak, but because she herself broke something she now cannot repair. Over time, the weight of losing respect for a man takes a toll on a woman that no one talks about. She begins to feel restless in ways she cannot explain, dissatisfied with a relationship that looks fine on the surface. She starts searching for something she can't name, a spark, a presence, a gravity she once felt but no longer does. And when she doesn't find it in you, she begins to either withdraw completely or seek it elsewhere. What hurts her the most isn't even losing you, it's the gnawing truth that she no longer feels alive in your presence. She can't admire you, she can't look up to you, and without that, she can't feel like the woman she wants to be. It's not cruelty, it's instinct. And instinct always wins, even if it leaves destruction behind. That's why your greatest weapon in love and in life is not charm, not romance, not relentless giving, but self-respect. When you refuse to break your standards, when you walk away from disrespect, when you invest in yourself first, you create a foundation no one can shake. Women may come and go, but your respect for yourself will always anchor you. And here's the irony, it is exactly that strength, that refusal to bend, that makes women fall the hardest. Because while they may test, while they may provoke, while they may even push you to your limits, what they want most is to know that you cannot be moved from your core. And when you live like that, what hurts her the most is never your words or your absence, it's the realization that she destroyed her respect for you, and once it's gone, there is no man on earth who can bring it back. Respect is not just about how she views you inside the relationship, it bleeds into every single aspect of your existence. When you are a man who respects himself, you are not easily swayed by temptation, flattery, or manipulation. You make decisions rooted in principle, not in short-term emotion. And that, whether she admits it or not, is magnetic. Women are emotional creatures, but even they cannot deny the gravitational pull of a man who holds his line. When you begin to live like this, something powerful shifts. You stop trying to convince her, stop trying to chase her, stop trying to prove your worth. Instead, your worth becomes evident in the way you carry yourself. And the irony is this, the moment you stop trying to force her respect is the moment she starts feeling the ache of wanting to give it back. What hurts her the most is seeing a man thrive in his own authority, while realizing she no longer holds the same position in his world that she once did. A man who respects himself also lives by an unshakable truth. He is complete with or without her. He does not view her presence as validation of his masculinity, nor does he see her absence as proof of his failure. He knows that women will come and go, driven by their emotions, their phases, their shifting desires, but his respect for himself remains constant. That consistency is what gives him an aura women cannot ignore. It is the calm in his voice, the certainty in his decisions, the way he can walk away without looking back. And this is where the deepest wound lies for her. Because when she realizes she no longer has control over you, when she sees that your self-worth doesn't crumble in her absence, she feels the sharp sting of irrelevance. What hurts her most is knowing that you don't need her to validate your existence, and nothing terrifies a woman more than being powerless over a man she once thought she controlled. When you stop over-explaining, stop over-giving, stop trying to fix her moods or carry her storms, you return to your natural masculine state. That state is grounded, firm, and unbothered. And whether she admits it or not, women respect that far more than they respect a man who bends over backwards to appease them. The modern world has conditioned men to think love means sacrifice, means tolerating disrespect, means making her the sun while you orbit around her. But when you flip that dynamic and reclaim your gravity, everything changes. She feels it immediately, the shift in power, the way her words no longer dictate your emotions, the way her silence no longer destabilizes you. And what hurts her the most is not that you're cold, not that you're distant, but that she can no longer bend your world with her presence. She sees in your eyes that you've outgrown the need for her validation, and in that moment, she feels small. You have to understand something crucial. Women test men endlessly, not because they are evil, but because they are wired to seek strength. When you fail these tests, you may think you are buying peace, but in reality, you are selling your soul. Every time you apologize unnecessarily, every time you try to justify why you couldn't meet her impossible expectations, every time you beg for another chance, you chip away at the very foundation of respect. And once enough pieces are gone, the structure collapses. What hurts her the most in this collapse is not losing the relationship, it's realizing she destroyed the respect that made her feel alive in the first place. Because deep down, she doesn't want a man who bends to her every mood. She wants a man who holds the line, who keeps his dignity intact, even if it costs him her approval. And when you become that man, she may resent you, but she will never forget you. Respect, at its core, is not about her at all. It is about you. The man who makes respect the cornerstone of his life is untouchable, unbreakable, and unforgettable. even if she leaves, even if she mocks you, even if she pretends she has moved on. The truth gnaws at her when the nights are long and her heart is restless. She remembers the man who never begged, who never crumbled, who never sold his self-worth to keep her. And in that memory, there is pain, because she realizes she cannot replace it. Every other man she meets will either pedestalize her or resent her, but very few will stand firm in their self-respect. That is why the man who respects himself leaves the deepest scar, because he proves a painful truth. Once she loses respect for you, her attraction is gone forever, but once she loses you because of your respect for yourself, her regret will haunt her for life. When you master self-respect, you begin to notice that your life changes in layers far deeper than just your relationship with women. You stop being the man who constantly reacts to the world, and you become the man who shapes it. You stop seeking approval from bosses, friends, society, or family. You stop bending to fit into places that don't value you, and instead, you create your own places, your own path, your own rhythm. And when a woman watches this transformation, whether she is with you or watching from a distance, something burns inside of her, because she realizes she has lost access to a man who does not beg, who does not bend, who does not crawl. What hurts her the most is not your silence, not your indifference, but the realization that she cannot influence your core. That truth rattles her to her bones, because women may love power, they may chase excitement, but what they can never fully let go of is the memory of a man they could not break. It's important to understand that women respect presence, not promises. They respect what they can feel in the moment, not what you keep saying you will one day do. And the man who respects himself lives in such a way that his presence demands attention. He walks into a room with quiet confidence, not because he is loud, but because he is whole. He speaks little, but with weight, not because he rehearsed lines, but because he doesn't waste his breath proving himself. When a woman encounters this kind of man, she feels both drawn to him and unsettled by him, because she knows he cannot be swayed by tricks, tears, or games. And when she realizes she disrespected him and lost her chance to be near that kind of presence, the pain is sharp. What hurts her the most is understanding that she traded stability for chaos, realness for excitement, and lost the rarest thing she will ever touch, a man who respected himself above everything else. The men who are most dangerous to women, not in a violent sense, but in a psychological and spiritual sense, are the men who do not flinch at loss. They do not collapse when a woman withdraws her affection. They do not panic when she threatens to leave. They do not lose themselves when she plays cold. These men carry a strength that cannot be bought or borrowed, because it was forged in solitude, discipline, and silence. And when a woman realizes she can no longer manipulate a man like this, when she sees her tactics fail one by one, when she notices that he can walk away with a steady hand and clear eyes, her world begins to crumble. She cannot bear the idea that her power failed, and that failure becomes the deepest wound of all. What hurts her most is the mirror it holds up to her, that she never truly had control, and now she never will again. There is an irony that few men ever understand. Women may laugh at you when you are weak. They may test you when you are strong, but they only truly respect you when you live beyond them. The man who makes his mission, his growth, his self-respect his top priority is the man who forever unsettles women, because he forces them to face a truth they try to avoid, that they are not the center of his world. He may love them, he may enjoy them, but he does not orbit them, and that position, that power, is what keeps her thoughts hooked long after she leaves. She may move on, but she never forgets. She may even pretend to be happy elsewhere, but the memory of a man who lived with unwavering respect will always haunt her in quiet moments. What hurts her most isn't losing you, it's losing the version of herself that existed when she was with a man she couldn't fully control. And this is the ultimate lesson. A man who respects himself will always win in the end, even if he loses a woman along the way. Because while women come and go, shifting with their moods, bending to their fantasies, a man's respect for himself builds a foundation that no storm can erase. It is the one thing no one can take from you unless you hand it over willingly. And when you live in such a way, you do not fear her leaving. You do not chase her validation, and you do not shrink when tested. You stand tall, silent if necessary, firm when it matters, and untouchable in spirit. And what hurts her the most, in the end, is not that you walked away, not that you went silent, not that you stopped giving, but that she finally sees you for what you are, a man who cannot be broken because his respect was never for sale. And that realization will echo in her heart long after she is gone, long after she pretends she's moved on, long after her smile fades at night when the room grows quiet.